Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to ZBrush Live. This is Kermaco Designworks, hard surface sculpting and concept design and character sculpting and all the good stuff. I think somebody eventually is going to make a compilation of all my introductions that are inconsistent. Anyway, starting out, let's make sure everybody can hear me. If somebody in the chat can let me know if you can hear me okay, that would be awesome. And like and subscribe. I, definitely like this video if you find it useful. It helps us out. And subscribe to this channel. There's a lot of amazing artists sharing their workflows in ZBrush. And, I'm sure there's something here for everybody. And let your friends know about it if they are ZBrush users. All right, and I will be answering questions live, and also if you have any questions, if you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, you can always leave your questions in the comments, and we check every once in a while and we can get back to you. All right, with that out of the way, I'm still waiting for somebody to let me know that you can hear me okay, and once we get that out of the way, we'll go ahead and get started. So we're starting with season 14 today. Season 13 was pretty unlucky. We have one episode that just disappeared. We don't know what happened to it. And then one episode we were having crashes. Another episode we were having technical issues. So, the number 13 definitely presented itself with the usual unluckiness of attributed to it. All right, I'm still waiting for somebody in the chat to let me know. And I don't really have a plan for today, and I thought I'd start with a human being and see where it goes. I do have some ideas, definitely got some inspiration from different things I watched lately, so we'll see how it goes. I might continue this thing on as its own thing, or I might, I might just use this as a prop for other things to come, so we'll see. All right. So, man, there's quite a few of you watching. Nobody has access to a keyboard. You need to let me know you can hear me in the chat. This is a new version of OBS that I downloaded today. So it's got a new audio mixer, which is much better than the one before. I don't know why they didn't do it this way before. All right, so as I'm waiting for that, I will go ahead and do a few things. One is that you'll notice that, the color I'm picking here is white, but my model is gray. And a lot of you might wonder, like, why is it gray? Why is it not white? Because that's the color I've chosen here. And that's because, yes, the model color is white. And if I render it, it is rendered white. But it is rendered white with a 85% intensity light. So if I bring this up to 100, it might render it as white. And the other thing also is, okay, great. Right show, laughing out loud. Thank you very much. Wiyacho. And so, yeah, the ambient light is at 5. I mean, if you turn this off, then you're basically just going off of this light over here, this one light, which is at intensity 85. And so I'm going to leave this at 85, but I'm going to pump up the ambient to, I don't know, let's go to 45. And now you can see that my model does appear as being white. Maybe 45 is a bit too much. Let's go for 42. Okay, all right, so now my model appears in the color it's supposed to be. Another thing I should also mention is that if you are subscribed to ZBrush and you're using 2026, make sure to upgrade to the latest version that just came out this Wednesday, which is 2026.1.2. Okay, so with that, all right, what I want to do here is I just kind of want to create some sort of a big statue of a person and create an environment in which this person is. I've been to a lot of countries where they have like giant Buddhas and giant different big characters, and I kind of want to create a similar type of a shrine or a character of some sort of a being that basically is worshipped or is a representation of a kind of a deity or some sort of a thing that people worship. Of course, knowing me, it has to be something sci-fi-ish. So here I'm going to use the anchor brushes. I don't know if you guys use that, but it's probably one of the most underrated brushes in ZBrush. and it's super useful. So I'm going to use the move rotate here. There are different options, and you might find these on top when you are doing your ZBrushing. So I just have it docked on the side, and there's a bunch of different ones, and the one I'm going to be using is the move rotate. So I just place my first cursor on the shoulder and place the other one closer to here. And I think what I'm going to do is actually maybe put this a little bit closer here. And you can see this kind of feels like a human being a little bit in the way the muscles are moving. And I think there is a little bit of compression underneath the arms, but I don't really care because that's really not going to be the end all be all of this. Right, so now that I've got that there, I'm just going to move to the other arm. These are mirrored, right? And then I'm just going to move to the other arm, place one here, and just move this in a little bit more. Let's see what it looks like from the front. That's okay. And I also want to move this back a little bit, like so. And last but not least, let's get these hands out of the thighs here. Oh, that's not going to do it. There we go. Something like that. Okay, and once again, these anchor brushes are highly not rated, not used, but they are super useful for doing simple things like this. And now also I'm going to, the foot placement, I mean, it's good, but I want to move them in a bit. So again, I'm just going to go back to the anchor brushes. And there's two different versions of it. There's the classic version and the regular version. I'm just using the regular one. Again, on move rotate, let's place one over here where the kind of the hip bone is. And then let's just move this in just a little bit like that. Actually, again, I probably should do half of it first, like that, and then let's just move this out. Something like that. All right, so now that I've got this going on, the next thing I'm going to do is, this person is going to be wearing a cloak. So for the cloak, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to select here, I'm just going to go ahead and mask a poly loop here, and I'll just do two of them. Why not? This one and this one. Okay, so that basically just created an area for me to basically duplicate, and I'm going to use this plugin called Extract Pro Plus, which basically does a bunch of different steps, which it uses the extract capability in under where is it? It's under, I think, geometry. It's right here, extract under tool, but it does a bunch of different steps. So I'm just going to use that. There's the pro version, and there's also a less expensive free version as well that you can download. Okay, so I just want to ring around like this, and I don't really need all this geometry, so I'm just going to zero mesh this a few times at half just to get less geometry. Even less than that. That's about what I want. That's good. Okay, and so my previous model is still there. It's just hidden. I'll just bring it back. Okay, and what I want to do with this guy is, and I'm just going to recenter the gizmo here, turn off symmetry, go to the center, and I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger, like so. Okay, and maybe move it forward a bit. All right, so now what I want to do here is just extrude out the edge on the bottom here. So extrude, and I'm going to try go for the edge loop. Hopefully it'll do the whole thing. Let's see if it does. It does. Okay, so I'm just going to extrude it out this way. Again, one more time. All right, and I can see here that already I have a little bit of a problem where this is not symmetrical, so I'll just mirror and weld it just to make sure it is symmetrical. Now what happened there is when it mirror and welds it, it creates this little bit of overlapping geometry, which I don't want. So that's an easy fix. You just move the center point to one side. That's not the side you want. You move it to the other, and there you go. That's perfect. Okay, so we're still going to go here and using ZModeler and extrude this a little bit further down like that. Okay. Now notice here that it's kind of bowing out, which is not what I want. So I'm just going to go ahead and use clip curve to bring these polygons in like that. And then do a little bit of this. And by the way, I don't really care about the topology at this point. I just care about getting the volume that I want. And I think that it's not really going to obey. So you're asking when is the new UI coming? And the answer is, and I know that one, I would say probably, I'm just messing with you. I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea when there's going to be the UI. And honestly, I think people who complain about the UI of ZBrush and feel that that's kind of their Achilles heel of not doing well in ZBrush are people that are never going to use ZBrush or never have used really ZBrush. I don't think if the new UI, if you're thinking you're going to be a good ZBrush user, if the new UI is there, you're not. It's just, what I think you should do is learn to customize the UI to the way you work. So learn something, figure out what you do in ZBrush, and then you can make the UI adapt to that. In the classes that I teach in ZBrush, I tell my students, first 2-3 classes, I tell them there are 2 or 3 things I will tell them that, will make them understand how to use ZBrush. And I've had classes full of 30, 32 people at Otis, and at the end of the class, they all know how to use ZBrush really well and have developed a character. This is a 15-week class. So once again, I think that if you're waiting for the new UI, I would say don't. That said, I'm not saying it's not going to come soon. I'm sure it will come at some point. They did declare it, so that means that it is imminent at some point. But I wouldn't waste my time waiting for it. I would start working now and getting used to how it works and customizing the UI to the way you want it to. Here's another thing that people don't realize. ZBrush is one of those things where you're not going to type in a prompt and get what you want. You know what I mean? It's like there's no lazy path to being a good ZBrush artist. I remember when I first started using it, I was really frustrated. I took a class with Brian Kingsleyan, which some of you might know. He does some good anatomy videos and whatnot, and I took a class with him at Gnomon. And I also took a class with Maddie Spencer, and both of these classes were super, super useful. And I remember how frustrated I felt because I could not do the things that they were doing, and they were doing amazing stuff. So, but I give it the good few years of hard work, and now it's great. All right, so I've got the UI question. Somebody's probably going to ask me, like, are you doing hard surface in ZBrush? And also my answer to that is yes. I do hard surface in ZBrush. I do all sorts of things in ZBrush. There are certain things that I still use Blender or Maya for. And all right, so here what I'm going to do is zero mesh this again. And I'll come back to my... all right, that's, I think, too few polygons. I'm just going to say, give me the same number of polygons, more or less, but, get rid of some of the crap that it had earlier. So, yeah. And here's the other thing, too. Like, a lot of people think that, learning ZBrush is the thing, but it's not. There's so many other things that you need to learn. So when you see artists doing really great work in ZBrush, it's not because they know ZBrush. It's because they have a lot of other things that they know. That makes things good for them. So yeah, I mean, I appreciate the new UI. I love the UI on the iPad. I use it all the time, and I wish some of the stuff that was there is here. But I also wish a lot of the stuff that's in the desktop version is in the iPad version. But I think eventually these two will be very similar. Like they'll be very little different. I mean, there already is very little difference, but UI-wise, I think the desktop UI will be very similar to the iPad UI. Maybe, both of them will evolve into something better. But that is definitely their number one concern, because that seems to be something that stops a lot of people from using ZBrush. I don't know why, but whatever. I think it's fine. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to deflate this thing. Let's go ahead and create a collision volume. Oh, yep. That was funny, actually. All right, I'm just going to mask the top part so we don't have it fall down. And also, the gravity 10 is really intense. So I'm going to go for, I don't know, let's go for 1. And do we want floor collision? Yeah, let's leave it on. Okay, all I wanted to do is just do this, kind of conform to the body bit. And here's the other thing I'm going to do. I'm just going to subdivide this once, just so I get a little bit more subdivision here. And let's mask this back part here as well. And let's just run this one more time. That's too much. So here I'm going to reduce the deflate amount to 0.2, right? So if ZBrush had a new UI, you would still be doing the same exact things I'm doing. Okay, so that's perfect. Now I also don't want to have this kind of resolution. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go ahead and zero mesh this one more time. Same, just to, I don't want to get these kind of like things here. I kind of want it to be straight down. So let me see if I can affect that somehow. So I want this just to fall down directly. Same with this. Okay, and run the simulation one more time. Okay, and this time without deflate. And let's see your mesh it one more time as well. Okay, that's more or less what I want, which is good. Okay, so I want this to be more straight over here. So now I'm just going to use the move tool. Here, let me actually move to my handy dandy pen and do it this way. Yeah, but if you're waiting for the new UI, you know, I would say you're going to be wasting precious time. I would say get on with learning what it is here. And when the new UI comes, it's not going to be like, you know, you're going to be left behind just because you know the older version. It's just going to be that you are further ahead. But, you know, all that said, I think the new UI is not too far out. And that just, you know, I don't know anything. I'm just basically, you know, based on what I've seen trend-wise, I'm saying that that's probably what is going to happen. One thing I think is kind of great is that they did agree to do it. You know. I think that's a good news. I think that means that they're listening to difficulties that people have. But yeah, people say like, why is it called a tool and why is it blah blah blah? And it's like, once you know, you know what I mean? Like, you know, who cares if it's called a tool or a sprocket or whatever, right? Once you know what's going on, you know what's going on. Okay, I'm just kind of shaping this thing the way I want it to kind of drape. And you can see here I'm working in very low resolution. I'm just trying to keep square polygons, and I'm trying to basically make this, you know, just kind of a straight line down to about there. All right, so now that the bottom part is done, I'm going to be working on the top part. Again, just going to ZModeler. And by the way, you can see how fast I'm going, and that's because I just basically have created my own UI. I'm doing exactly what I want to do. I have hotkeys for certain things. I also have this wheel, which I don't know why it's not working. Hello. Oh, that's because, is the Wacom thing on? Yeah, I've got some Wacom settings here with this. Oh, that's why. I'm using the wrong pen. Oh, that makes a difference. Yeah, Wacom is dependent. I use this ProPen 3D, and I was using the ProPen 3, but I've got this radial menu that is a Wacom feature as well that I also use that gives me kind of fast access to things that I use all the time. So basically, you know, the new UI is the UI I designed, and when the new UI comes out, I'll probably be doing the same thing. I'll probably be customizing it to the way I want it to work. So yeah. All right, so here I'm just going to create this color. Now the thing is, I got to make sure that these points are not pointing in the same direction, because when I go up, what's happening is that those points are intersecting because there's a point snap available. All right, so that goes up this way, and then this goes up this way, like so. So yeah, I was really inspired by the new Dune 3 trailer. That looks really, really good. Really eager to see that movie. To wait till the end of the year, and hopefully we will have an end of the year, considering the world is on fire right now. But yeah. Right. That, and then let's do this. Okay. So this is more like doing costume design or kind of, and I don't really need that one edge loop in the middle, so I'm just going to delete it. So here, the insert with Alt deletes, so I'm just going to do that, and then I'm just going to select these guys. So the guy that asked about the UI, are you still with us, or did you just kind of drop a fart bomb and leave the room? I feel like there's people that just basically, like, you know, they're on the internet just to like drop fart bombs and leave the room. Like they just go in there and just comment negatively and then they go on to the next thing. And I really feel sorry for people like that, because like you should have a better life than that. But that seems to be the way things are. Nobody will act like that in person, but on the internet where you have names like, you know, Blue Sock 27, you can pretty much say whatever you want. And what's tragic is that, you know, people are, you know, that's how people are inside, and that's really a tragic thing. And that should never come out, or it should, if it does come out, it should be looked down upon, but that's not the world we're living in, I guess. All right. Like I would dare somebody to say the things that they say on the internet in real life. I would, you know, like they wouldn't. There's no way. Okay, so this is kind of coming along. I want it to go all the way up to his eyes. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to mask this, invert mask it, and just lift it up all the way to where I want it to go. And then just go this way to like about maybe there. I'm going on based on reference, but I'm not really married to it. I'm just kind of, again, I love when a project starts, because, you know, that's kind of like staring at the blank canvas. You're doing a lot of fun things. All right, so what happened this week besides global destabilization? The Dune 3 Messiah, or Dune Messiah thing came out, which was always a good thing to see. I want to delete that. Okay. And I've been really getting into the Marathon soundtrack. I don't know if you guys have heard it. It's really, really good. The game is not too shabby either. Okay, and this front part, I don't want it to dip in, so I have to figure out a very creative way of getting it outward like this. So this is looking a little bit like the Guild Navigators in Dune, and that's not kind of going to be my intent. It's just going to be to create some sort of a creature that's kind of you know, like I said, a big statue of this being that's people worship on an alien planet. Okay, that is looking a little bit more like what I want it to look like. And here I'm going to re-zero mesh this, so it just basically adapts the topology that I'm going for, and of course it did, and that's perfect. ZBrush is one of those things where it's just such an amazing thing to have. All right, I think that is kind of what I want with this, except that I want this to drop further down. You know, what's kind of interesting is I also, you know, sometimes people contact me and they're like, hey, you know, can I use your UI? And I'm like, you don't want to use my UI because my UI is very particular to how I work. So I recommend that people learn how to design their own UIs. And just, you know, mentioning students, I used to tell my students to do that. And some of them used to do it, but a lot of them kind of stuck to the main UI. It's because if you go to work somewhere, you don't know, you know, it's more difficult to take your UI in. However, Maxon has made that a lot easier. Here, I'm going to turn symmetry on so I get symmetric because I don't like what's going on here. But Maxon has made it a lot easier now. So I don't know if you guys know, but if you go to Lightbox here, there's the Maxon default stuff. And then there's the user, what am I doing? Just quick save. There's the Maxon menu, which has all the Maxon stuff. So here's all the quick saves of stuff I've been working on. And then there are the user ones, which basically have, like, let's say if I go to, go to tools, this will show me my tools. Or if I go to brushes, this will show me my brushes. And then if I go to Maxon, it will show me the Maxon brushes. And so I think this is the first step to something where you'll be able to basically take your UI, everything together, you know, so that you sit at a ZBrush seat at a company that you're freelancing at, if you do that kind of thing, which I do. And then you can basically just throw your UI on there. Because now if I go to a company, I tell them, like, hey, listen, I could be a lot more productive with my UI, and if you want me to do it, I can either bring in my laptop and do it that way, or I can you know, install my UI on your machine, but I will make sure that when I leave, I will restore it back to its original condition. Okay, so this is kind of good. And then the next thing I want to do here is get rid of some polygons here. So I'm just going to delete a single poly, and I'm just going to do that with this kind of, if I hold Alt down, it does a selection. So I kind of want to go up this way and maybe delete these polygons, right? Right, I don't want to delete the one in the back. Yeah, you got to be careful here because like a little bit of it was showing and I grabbed it and I didn't want to, so I'm just going to redo this. It's easy enough. Okay, let's make sure nothing in the back is selected and then just get rid of that part. All right, so we got a quiet group again today. Again, these things go a lot better if there is some interaction. So if you guys have questions about anything, please feel free to ask. I know I kind of smashed up the people that asked questions earlier, but I promise that's the last smashing I will do today. All right, delete polyloop. I don't know though, I'm pretty smashy sometimes. Okay, so we'll just kind of do that here. Maybe not these guys. Actually, here I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to mask these out, delete polygons, delete single poly, get rid of these ones, and then also get rid of these ones as well. And let's do one more row. Okay, so like his face is just kind of basically showing a little bit in here. And then I want this to be connected, and then let's get rid of these ones, these ones. Okay, at this point I'm just basically committing to the topology. I won't be doing ZBrush anymore, and just kind of creating like some sort of connection here, like that. All right. Anybody have a new movie that they saw or something new that they some new music that they heard or some new art that they saw that was interesting. I guess I'm asking if you guys have lives. All right, there it is. Okay, so this is pretty much what I want, except I also want to do one more thing here, which is create a fold going this way. And how do I do that best? All right, I'm going to turn poly frame on just to kind of see what I have here, and this is looking good. It's a little bit more conforming to the body, and I don't really want that, so I'm just going to smooth it a little bit. You loved the movie Arco. Arco. Why does that sound familiar? Did that just come out, or has it been out for a while? I think I'm thinking of the no, that's Flow. I thought of the cat movie, but that's not it. Yeah, I haven't seen Arco. I'll check it out. Thanks for suggesting that, Costello, and thanks for actually saying something. I appreciate it. I really, really do. Okay. So here, if I turn transparency on, I can see what the body looks like inside, which is fine. And again, I don't even know I need the body. I probably will just need the head, but I'll leave it in there for now just to kind of have a good reference of it. Okay, that's good. And then the next thing I want to do is maybe make this flow up a bit. Like that. And I still have symmetry on. I probably will have symmetry on for a while until I don't have it anymore. But for now, I'm just going to keep the symmetry as is. Okay. Yeah, what was Arco about? Was it like a Pixar kind of thing, or I think Pixar came out with a new movie too, but it's like is anybody still going to Pixar movies? I don't know. Does anybody still care? I remember when Toy Story came out, it was so exciting and, you know, basically a new thing, but nowadays it just seems like animated movies, CG animated movies are just a penny a dozen. Like there's one every quarter. And coming out of 3 studios. So Disney has 2 studios, Pixar and Disney Animation Studios. And I mean, Pixar movies are always amazing. Like they're always good. I don't think there's a single Pixar movie that's bad. And when you're comparing them, you're comparing between amazing and good. So Disney Animation Studios, hit or miss. I mean, I didn't really see Zootopia. I think, you know, I think their movies are okay. And then there's DreamWorks movies. And here I'm just going to do a fold here. Bring this back up. Yeah, there's DreamWorks movies, and those are hit or miss, but most of them are usually good. Like I don't know if they've had a Shrek. How to Train Your Dragon was okay. I don't remember. Like I don't know if there's anything. What came after that was really phenomenal. K-pop Demon Hunters was good. Oh, Hoppers was fun. Okay, cool. Foolish Swami, thanks for letting me know. Yeah, I mean, I will definitely see it at some point, maybe when it comes out on Disney Plus. But I usually go to movies when I can, but I missed that one. I don't even know if it's still in the theaters. All right. Stay mask, a single poly. Let's mask this. What I'm going to do with this is just pull it out and go like maybe this. The thing about Hoppers that I find interesting is that the logo that they used was kind of a techno logo, a technology logo, and I don't know why they decided to use that logo, but I think maybe, you know, if I see the movie, the story will make sense. Okay, let's just to the center and move these in like this. I'm just basically creating a fold here. All right, let's see what that looks like without this part. I'm going to turn dynamic subdiv on here just to kind of get to see what this would look like in its own form, and it is doing what I wanted to do. And now I'm just going to go to the Damien standard brush. So here, if I just go to brushes, Damien standard, again, I'm using that Wacom thing. And again, this is very, very low poly. So Bad Take Online, okay, and Erica is a French animated movie. It's about near-ish future, very near future, and humanity's right. Yeah, nice. Okay, good. Yeah, you basically are saying the magic words. I will definitely watch that movie. I will seek it out and see it. Also, I think the French have, you know, French Belgians or whatever. I mean, I come from a background of liking French and Belgian comics, so and I feel like their animated movies are usually you know, in a different league. I think that Americans tend to equate animation with childish stuff. Like, you know, to them, animation, comics, or whatever is a childish kind of thing. Whereas Europeans and Japanese, you know, it's an adult thing. Like, you know, an anime movie is something adults go and watch. But if you tell American adults here that, oh, I went and saw an anime movie, they're like, why are you going to watch children's movies and whatnot? So they don't really, I don't think animated movies here have the same kind of relationship. Also, you know, the only serious comics that they have here, besides, of course, Watchmen, which I think is probably one of the best graphic novels out there, are the Marvel comics, right? Those are kind of more adult focused, but they're also childish as well. To the point where they, you know, in the US, there was a time where, you know, a lot of religious groups were anti-animation and comics, and they basically were burning comic books. And this is, you know, I saw a bio on Frank Frazetta, and they were talking about how he was kind of, you know, he was doing well in life, and then all of a sudden he wasn't, because, you know, a lot of the comic companies were, you know, comic book companies were not making comics anymore because it was controversial, and there were conservative groups that were religious groups that were basically banning comics and saying that it was, you know, not something that they wanted children to be participating in, which I think is stupid, but hey. History is just full of those kinds of things, and eventually things kind of sort themselves out. All right. Yeah, thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. I don't usually get as many views as some of the other streamers on here, and I don't know why. Like, I don't know if I need to maybe get some bunny ears or do some I don't know, some other, you know, things that make it attractive to people to watch these things. Okay, here what I'm going to do is bring these two together. So I'm going to bridge these edges, and I'm going to turn symmetry off. So I'm just going to bridge these together like so. And I'm just going to insert an edge loop. So insert and half, insert one here. All right, I don't really need different polygroups for that. Let's go back to dynamic. Okay, you know what? I'm going to say always yes, so I don't have to answer that all the time. And here, oh, look at that. What's going on over here? There's like a weird anomaly that happened. So I'm just going to delete these polygons here. I wonder what caused that. I mean, probably it's pretty simple. And I'm going to bridge these edges over here. I think I just kind of put in, I randomly kind of created the gap, and insert edge loop here, insert edge loop here. Now here, I don't think these are, did they connect? Something weird's happening here. I need to make sure that I don't have some, yeah, some funky stuff is happening over here. All right, so I'm just going to mirror and weld this just to kind of make sure I have the same thing on both sides. Mirror and weld. Okay, all right, this feels better to me now, but I still feel like there's something funky going on over here on these guys. All right, so just going to delete these polygons to make sure that okay, I think it's okay. Let me go to Dynamics. All right, see, that's it. Okay, so the problem is that this over here is not connected, so I'm just going to use stitch to stitch them up. All right, cool, cool, cool. Didn't crash. That's always a good thing. All right, so that's that. All right, that's good. Moving back onto this, I think I'm going to do delete these. I'm going to turn symmetry back on. Delete these two polygons. Okay, I think that's okay. And another thing I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go ahead and add some thickness to this. And let's go one smooth subdivision. Let's add some thickness and let's offset it out from where we are. Did I do that right? Just forget like if it's offsetting in or out. Let's see here. The best way to do it is make the thickness bigger. Offset in. Yeah, this is what I want. Offset out. And that's about a good thickness for it. Okay, and I think I got overly ambitious with deleting these in-betweens. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to maybe remove some edges here, which will make life easier for me. And then just bridge these two. Turn symmetry off, bridge that to that. Okay, good. And then let's just add an insert, an edge loop over here like that. And I have a feeling that these also are not stitched, so I'm just going to do that. And if you just click on them, if they're close enough, oh, I didn't need to delete that poly. If they're close enough, it'll work. Okay, D, all right, here we go. Good, good, good. All right. So that's fine. What is happening here? I've been having these weird freezes on my PC all day today. I don't know why, but maybe I need to upgrade my, update my graphics card driver. I haven't done that for a while. I usually am pretty religious about doing it. Okay, so much for the cloak. Now I want to work on some sort of a hat. All right, so for doing that, what I'm going to do is just, I'm going to bring in, so this is my cylinders brush, and it just has a bunch of different cylinders on here. And I'm going to find one that would make a good kind of hat for this guy. And again, these are, here, I'll make this part bigger. These are, you know, there's quite a few of them. And I guess this would be a good time to talk about that. So if you go to my Gumroad over here, you'll notice that I've got some free items. I've got my UI colors, not the UI itself, but the colors. And I also have a free insert multi mesh brush, which is just the primitives. And this is a little bit better than the one that comes with ZBrush because it's got polygroups. The spheres are actually spherical and evenly divided. And you've got some options here that make it pretty fast to add things. So grab that. And if you want to support me, you can also grab the $5 version of it. It's the same exact thing with some added parts. And if you want to know what the added parts are, it's these parts right here. Down below here, I have an actual slide on all of them. So, you know, I mean, these are pretty useful parts that I use all the time, and I thought I'd share them, like a plus joint or a T-joint, etc. And these kind of diagonal lines that you can just use as meshes, and I've got different pills and whatnot. And all of them are polygrouped, and all of them are good topology. So, I mean, if that's something you need, that's fine. But if you're, money crunch, you can always grab the free version. And I also have two pro kits. One of them is cylindrical, and the other ones are rings and loops. I'm working on some more, and I'm also working on updating these with some of the new capabilities in ZBrush, so keep an eye out for them. If you buy them now, you'll always get the upgrades for free. So these are version 1.1, I think, and version 1.5 is coming out soon. So I basically am using this cylindrical one now, so you can see that there are all these different shapes in here. And these are all a sub D. These are all good topology, and the whole point of them is not to use them the way they are, but the fact that you can modify them to be different. And you'll see me do that in a minute here. Okay, and also while we are here, I will also mention that you can see my artwork on my portfolio site. I still need to populate this with new stuff. I haven't had a chance to do it. Things have been a bit busy, but yeah, you can see my work here. And I also have some tutorials on the Gnomon Workshop that you can subscribe to. And definitely follow me on Instagram. Definitely follow me. I'm trying to get this number to 2,500. So if you can bump it up and tell your friends to follow, that would be awesome. And I always post my new work here. I also haven't updated this for a while because I've been busy on a couple of projects that I can't really share work from, but I will be posting stuff very soon, and a lot of really great stuff coming soon. But the reason why you want to follow me here more than anything else is because my link tree is here, and that links you to everything about me. So my portfolio, Gnomon Workshop, all the things I showed you are linked here. So if you just follow me on Instagram, you can click on the link tree and get to everything of mine just from this one link. So definitely follow me on there if you can. Okay, so with that, let's get back to this. Okay, so here I left it with having to choose a shape, and I'm going through all these different shapes. And again, when I say these have good topology, the reason why that is important is because if you are working with things that have good topology, then ZBrush will crash less and things will work a lot better. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this shape right here. So to do that, what I'm going to do is insert or append, either way. I'm just going to append. Actually, I'll just insert a polymesh 3D. That basically will put this polymesh 3D on here, right? So, and now I want to change this polymesh 3D to this shape. I just click on it, and that's what it changes to. So there is that ring, and I'm going to rotate it this way and position this on the guy's head, like so. And that's going to be the basis for his hat, but I want it to be a little bit like this. What about if I do it upside down? Would that be better? I kind of like this more. Okay, so maybe something like that. But of course, I mean, I'm not going to keep it as the shape that it is. And notice here that the topology of this shape is very kind of dense, but also it allows for you to make some modifications to it. So here, I don't really know if I need this many edge loops over here. So I'm just going to delete some of these edge loops like so. And same thing with this. I don't really need these ones. All right, so I'm just going to select these, and notice that there are edge loops on the inside too, which I might not need all these inside ones as well. So I'm just going to delete a couple more, and I'm just going to mask this part and see if I can widen this more like that. But go a lot bigger. Something like that, and then the other part here I can make that smaller. And notice that I just went from that cylindrical shape to something completely different, and that's kind of the power of this tool, is that it you know, this kind of IMM brush that I have is that you can, you know, you have like hundreds of shapes that you can use, and then you can also modify them to do different things. Okay, so that's good, and then maybe this gets lower or higher. That's good. Maybe the whole hat moves up. I don't know. To maybe there. Okay, and then what I want to do here is I want to make this inside part go in. So here I'm just going to mask this inside part. Mask poly loop like that. Not that direction, but this direction. Okay, and then invert that mask and then just move that in. And oops. Also, let's see if moving this out makes a interesting thing. Nope, that's good. All right, so that's good. All right, so now I've got this kind of shape happening here with that hat. And I think what I also want to do is make this maybe a little bit higher up. Okay, and then this would be kind of in some sort of a hall, or, and I'll probably start working on that. So I'm just basically kind of putting down the different aspects of this first. And then I'm going to take this exact same thing and duplicate it. And since I know it's got good topology, I'm just going to take the duplicate, move it down, and make it a lot bigger, and that's going to be the base for it. All right, so yeah, I'm definitely going to watch that Arco movie. I'm really intrigued now. What's the animation style on it? Do you know? Is it kind of more realistic, or? Is it stylistic or is it more realistic, is I guess my question. All right, so this is kind of the base that he's on. And again, since this has good topology, I can do interesting things with it, like let's say insert some edge loops, maybe put one here, maybe put one here. And put one in the middle. Polygon actions do nothing. Edge actions insert half. Yep. Well, let's put one there. And now what I want to do here is I'm going to undo that mask. It's stylistic, and oh, the music is good too. All right. I'm super excited about watching this movie now. I think the first thing I'm going to do after I end this, well, no, it's probably going to be the second thing I do. End the stream is I'm going to look that up and watch it. Thank you for telling me about that, by the way. That's awesome. All right, so there's the pedestal. And just for kind of reference's sake, I'm going to take a human being here that I have, and I'm going to duplicate this guy so I have a copy of it just in case I need it. I'm going to make it smaller and much smaller. So just to kind of create the scale. Oh, didn't want to do that. Sorry, dude. And just to create the scale of how big this thing is. That's how big it is, right? So this is the actual person, maybe even smaller. Like that. So that's the actual kind of size of it is that. Right, so this is how big this thing is, and there will be like hundreds of people around here that I will generate at some point using ZBrush. Oh, wow. Okay, well, great. I probably will watch it. I mean, if it's a French animated movie, I'll probably watch it in French. I know French, so I'll just watch it in French. But then I'll watch the US version as well, just to, you know, because I'm sure Will Ferrell and Andy Samberg. Is it a comedy or is it a, you know, I mean, Will Ferrell and Andy Samberg are funny people. All right, back to this. Now what I want to do here is, I mean, this is just the base of it, and I probably will create some design kind of aspects to it. But what I think I'm curious about is that when I go, oh, that's what's happening. Okay, so you guys see what's happening over here? Like there's this part right here. And if I turn double on, you'll see what's going on. So basically the bottom part is intersecting, is coming out, and I don't want it to, right? So easily fixed. What I'm going to do here is just add an edge loop on the inside. Not that way. Still wants to add it that way. All right, this way. Oh. Here we go. I'll just add an edge loop over here. All right, so this is the edge loop I had. I guess I could just do it this way as well. And then I'm just going to mask that edge loop. Mask edge loop. Complete. That. Invert that edge loop and then bring it down. All right, so now I don't have that problem anymore. And yeah, we're good to go. All right, so here is the big statue. And I'm going to create some patterns and stuff on the down here in this area. But what I want to do here is I'm just going to select wow. I'm hearing like this weird kind of loud noise. I don't know what it is. Mask, polygon actions, mask, poly loop. Wonder if it was like some sort of a car or something. Okay, so now what I want to do is I just want to duplicate this whole thing. Right, I'm going to do this, Control W or mask the poly group, and I just want this guy. I don't want the rest of it. So I'm just going to delete the rest, delete hidden, and I'm going to take this guy and move it up. What the hell? All right, I'm just going to redo this thing. I don't know why it didn't take. Okay, that's the part I want. I'm going to polygroup it. I'm going to keep this polygroup. Here, actually, this will be easier if I hide the initial two of these. Oh, not the hat. All right. Okay, and I want to just keep this polygroup here. I want to keep selecting these ones. Okay, yep. Yeah, that's the only one I want. Okay, and then delete these other ones. All right, and then here we go. Bring this back, bring this back, bring this back. Okay, so now I've got just that part, and what I want to do is I want to create like a design kind of version of this. So I can either, let's see what happens if I just do zero mesh around this. Let's turn symmetry on. And let's double the, okay, yeah, that's okay. Let's do it one more time. Okay. All right, and I'm going to try and see if I can get some interesting things going on with micropoly on this. Geometry, dynamic, no smooth, thickness is not okay, micro poly, and let's see what will happen if I do this. That made an interesting pattern. Okay, but I want it to be more protrudy, so I'm just going to go and say, let's go ahead and increase the scale. That will do that to it. And is this going in the wrong? Oh yeah, no, it's good. See, I've created something like instantly, like a really interesting pattern right off the bat. Now here, I'm just going to go, I like this, but I want it to be bigger squares. So again, if I bring my dude, you know, like I want these squares to be bigger. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to zero mesh it at half. One more time. Okay, and this is looking pretty good. Okay, I think that's maybe this intermediate one is better. Okay, good. And I'm just going to put this in the center of it and make it a little bit more like that. Push it in. Actually, if I just push it in this way, I'll get what I want, which is this. So I want the bottom part to show and then the top part to just, so that I can just use a different material. Let me see if I can do this. No. I guess the scale is all I got to work with. Will align do anything? No. All right. What about fit? Ooh, wow, that's interesting. What the hell happened here? You know, sometimes I get like some really interesting happy accidents here. So I had fit on, and when I turned it off, this is what happened. Oh, look at that. I mean, right there, like a 2D thing. Like if I just render this thing. Let me turn, if I just turn shadows off and take away fill, and actually if I just put the light in the center here, it will do what I want it to do. That might be more interesting. What happened to, I turned fit off, didn't I? Okay, fit. Okay, so I got that. Now if I render it, I mean, that in itself, I can remove the shadows, but that is kind of a really interesting 2D pattern that I can use for different things. And again, it's just like a happy accident that just happened. So I'm going to try and see what I can do with what this created. So here I'm just going to go ahead and accept this, apply it. Let me make sure I don't have any subdivisions. Okay, I'm just going to apply this. And now I've got this kind of interesting thing that just happened. And I want to see like what happens if I play around with it like this, or I can even sculpturally play around with it, right? So I can go ahead and turn symmetry on, and I'm going to turn radial symmetry and maybe go to, let's go to 32, and not in the X direction, but in the Z direction, I think, yeah. And what happens if I, nope, in the Y direction. It's always the last one. What happens if I'm just basically hitting smooth to smooth things out? And then what happens if I, you know, go to just the simple move brush? Oh, look at that. Right? I mean, I'm just randomly, like this just happiest of accidents. I'm getting some really, really interesting patterns here, and I can move these around. I don't want a radial shape to happen, so I'm just going to hold shift down or alt down and just go on the normals and get something like this. Wow, look at that. Now when you get into situations like this, you know, you're really stretching the geometry and doing some really funky things with it. And if you guys like kind of what I'm doing here, if you watch Ashley Adams streams, she does a lot of these kinds of things too, where she just basically really obliterates the polygons and gets some interesting shapes. All right, well that's good. Let's see what that looks like. I'm going to move the light back here, rendered. Oh, without the polyframe, of course. Yeah, that's kind of cool. All right. And if I really want to press my luck here, I can go ahead and try and Dynamesh this thing. So I'm going to quick save beforehand because this is kind of one of those things that could completely crash the thing. But let's go ahead and Dynamesh this, see what we get. I'm going to up the resolution. Let's go to 512. And let's do it. Like I said, this could make ZBrush crash, but it seems like it's doing it. It's trying to figure out like what is going on here, but this could give me something really cool and interesting as well. I think once you learn ZBrush, you can kind of take it off-road, and this is what I'm doing right now. Okay, well, that kind of created some geometry, and actually that's not bad. Did it pretty fast. Okay, so I got this shape now, and let's just do a check mesh. Oh yeah, came up with a bunch of errors. That's fine. We'll fix it, and now we're good. Okay, and then I can maybe Dynamesh it one more time, and that should happen pretty fast, which it did. Check it again. Again, a lot of issues, but we can fix mesh it. Okay, all right. So now I've got this really kind of interesting looking thing, and it's a solid, and I can just kind of maybe hit it with some smoothing. Oh yeah, I'm getting a lot of that kind of Dynamesh funk, but that's okay. I can re-Dynamesh it, keep re-Dynameshing it until the funk disappears, or I can zero mesh it as well. But like I got a really interesting thing there, but I don't know if I want to go that route. I'm going to go back to where I was, right here. And is this still applied? Let's see here. Geometry, where are you? Dynamic, okay, not yet. So here I want to make sure scale is up and apply it. Now another thing I can also do is I can try and inflate it. See what I get there, and that's kind of giving me something interesting as well. So this kind of thing is just play at this point. I'm just playing around just to get some interesting shapes. And I think I like this more than what we had before. See what the geometry looks like. Okay. If I inflate inwards, I get something interesting as well. I'm going to try inflating outwards, but yeah, I kind of like what's going on here on the inside more than I like what's going on the outside. So if I inflate inwards, I like what I'm getting. If I inflate this way, I like what I'm getting more, but I want it to be inverted. So how do we do that? If I take a look at the geometry here. Oh, I know. All right, let's get back to this being this way. I'm going to go, oh, again, I can't go negative scale. Bummer. Okay, not a problem. I'll figure something else out. Apply. And then I'm going to try inflate circle. Let's see what that does. Deformation. Inflate balloon, not circle. Let's see what that does. Yeah, I think that did a little bit more of what I wanted. Let's move this up. I think that's kind of what I want right here. I think that's good. And All right, that's good. I like the outside rings more than I like the inside ones, but I kind of like this type of pattern. So that's one I could go with. And so here I'm going to go ahead and make another run at this and try something else. And this is what's really good. All right, Costello, thanks for watching. I don't know if you're still on, but yeah, thanks for watching, and thanks for the animation reference. I'll watch that movie. Okay, so here, this is one instance of what I want to do. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to duplicate that. So I've got a finished version of this. And then I'm going to go back here and rewind this all the way back. All the way back. Right, and I don't really need to see this one. To when I got this to be where I want it to be, like that. And right before I added the micro mesh, right there. And this time around, I'm going to try something else. This is kind of weird, the way it's kind of wobbly. I don't know why it is. Let me turn on symmetry, radial, Y, and this fixes it right here. Just need to relax these things on the inside. I mean, it might be interesting if it added some sort of irregularity, but I'm going to try a different dynamic subdiv option on this. So Dynamesh, not Dynamesh, dynamic. A lot of dynas. All right, and then turn micropoly on, no smoothness. And let's try this one. That's kind of interesting. Can I holes? No, I don't want that. Looks too disco. What about, let's see what this does. That's kind of interesting, but not doing it for me. Let's align these guys. All right, well, that's another interesting one. But I don't like how these are getting smaller as they go in, so I don't know if micropoly is going to work for what I want to do. At least not that one. But what about this? Okay, yeah, no. There's one that's, yeah, this one. Okay, yeah, that one's kind of cool. What if I scale this one up? Whoa. Okay, we're getting somewhere. So that's basically creating like a, oh yeah, this is where I'm going to do, but I don't know if I need the scale to be that big. But maybe these are columns, and there are columns around this, and the people can go through it. Now, I don't need this many of these, so I'm just going to zero mesh this at half. Why is it not going down in number? If I turn dynamic off, turn this on. Okay, zero mesh this at half. Oh, is this hidden stuff still there? Delete hidden. Okay, no. Why is it not here? Activate symmetry. Oh, maybe this is throwing it off. No. Zero mesher. Here we go. Okay, and then turn dynamic back on. Okay, that's cool. And then let's just go even less than that. Oh, dynamic on, zero mesher at half. There we go. One more. And again, I'm just basically looking at the scale of this person. And okay, that's good. And now I don't really need this to be that tall. All right, I think I'm going to have to type numbers in. So how about, oh, not that. How about 1? No, too small. 2. 2 is more like it. And I want to make this come out to about there. Maybe 2 is a little bit too much. Let's go for 1.5. I think that's good. There. And I can combine them. Like I could use this one in addition to the one that I did before as well. So let's see what that would look like. Okay. Or I could have the one that I did before be a roof. No, not this one. This one. Nope, this one. Okay, eventually I'll get the right one. and this is kind of the roof of it, like that, right? So they go through, and my big question is, what is this inside part right here? Because that should not be there. So I'm kind of doing some architectural stuff here, and it's looking really, really good. Again, very little time spent doing this stuff, but getting some amazing results. I think this is what's the problem. And I'm just going to Control Z. Okay, here we go. This is kind of the way I want it to be. All right. And the dude is there. He'd walk in, you know, they'd walk through these columns, and then they would look at the statue from far away, and then they'd get inside or whatever. And I could, of course, always kind of change the scale of these things. So like if I like this, but I want it to be bigger this way, I can do it. And if I like that, I want it to be bigger as well. I could do that and lift it up. So yeah, I had no idea I was going to be doing this today. You know, again, just happy accidents. And this thing is still dynamically subdived, so I can go in. Did I actually accept it? I did. Let's see. Geometry, dynamics. No, I guess I did, yeah. But I can always go back to the point where I did not accept it. Did I? Oh, I duplicated it. That's fine. I mean, it still works. It's just, I was gonna remove some of these rings. I could probably still do it. Okay. All right, so here's some interesting magic that I'm going to do, which is I'm going to get rid of these kind of half ones, but I have to figure out how to do it correctly. So it's going to be done with radial symmetry and in Y, and I'm going to have to probably go to, let's try 28. And I'm going to use ZMesher, and I'm going to say delete, or I'm just going to say polygroup. Let's polygroup them first. And polygroup, single poly, this. Okay, so that radial nut count is, okay, so it just goes up to 100. Let's go to 64 here. I know that 64 will work. I guess not. How about 32? Okay. Nope, still not doing it. So you can see here, what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to select these inside ones and delete them in one shot. But 32 isn't right either. How about, yeah, I don't know what the number was. And radial count only goes up to 100. So I'm going to go for, 8. Just to see if it's a multiple of 8. And it is not. Okay, multiple of 6. This is where math comes in handy. Nope. Yeah, I mean, I would just have to count how many of these there are, and I don't know. I don't know how many ZBrush ended up with. But here's the other way of doing the same thing. Now, I know this is symmetrical, so I'm going to mirror and weld in X and Y and Z, I mean. Let's see what that gives me. Okay, so I guess it is not fully symmetrical because I'm getting, it's symmetrical this way, but not this way because I'm getting this weird thing happening over here. All right, well, that's not good. Unless I can use that as a feature, but I probably can't. I mean, eventually I would want this to happen. I want it to be symmetrical, but it's not. I don't know why it's not symmetrical. It should be. I don't know if I inadvertently moved it or did something to it, but let's go back to its original state. And let's see if it's still symmetrical here. Still not. How about now? Okay, good, got it. All right, all right, all right. Okay, so now to get it to work, I just need one quadrant of this. So I'm just going to go to one quadrant, which is going to be this part right here. I'm just going to select that part. Yeah, I don't know if this is going to work. Oh, yeah, well, no, it's not going to work. Yeah, because I just need to make sure that the protruded part is incorrect. I might manually be able to do it, but then I'd have to, you know, it should work. Why isn't it not working? Maybe I need to go a little bit further. Maybe something like that. I got what I wanted over here, but not over here, which is a good sign. Because if I got it on that side, I can get it over here too. I guess I just need to go a little bit over. All right, that's almost there. I just have some stragglies that I don't need, like these guys. And this one right here. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to delete hidden. And now I know that if I just, you know, and I can even go smaller than this. And then what I'm going to do here is just delete the ones I don't want, which is, this is going to be a lot easier. So I'm just going to delete single poly. I don't want this one, this one. Okay, this might take a while. It won't take that long. All right, I don't want this one. No, I'll keep that one. Right, so I don't want these guys, and I can probably figure out a way to do this faster, but since I'm live, I'm not going to do it. Right. I think I still have the masking thing on here. I'm just going to say do nothing. Polygon actions do nothing, right? Edge actions do nothing. Polygon actions delete single poly. Right, so this is going to give me a nice kind of shape. Right. I like these kind of, and I'm going to do this at the other end too. I wonder if there's a faster way of doing this. This is how it's going to be faster. Instead of deleting individual polygons, I'll just be deleting, oops, the wedges. And I'm going to do delete hidden every time just to get rid of them. And I think I'm almost done. This method was faster. Developing workflows as I go. All right. Delete hidden. Okay, good. These ones. So I think compositionally, I'm thinking I might want to create a scenario where I've got a lot of people around here, and I'll use array mesh and some of the tools in ZBrush to create the scenario. But I think for this project, I want to create a scenario where there's like a lot of people worshiping this being. Come on. I don't want to jinx it, but I haven't crashed ZBrush at all, which is a good sign, which means that they fixed some of the issues in this new update that they put together. So yeah, if you're a subscriber, make sure to update the ZBrush with your Maxon app to 2026.1.2. It seems a lot more stable. It seems a lot more stable than the previous version. like infinitely more stable. All right, let's delete the hidden stuff. All right, we're almost there, folks. And people that like, you know, I mean, the things that I'm doing now, a new UI isn't going to make a difference in this, by the way. It's just going to be yeah, the way to do that, this would have been with radial, but either way, it was going to take a lot of time. One thing was going to be for me counting how many of these wedges there are, and then figuring out the radial number that would divide into it, which means I would have to kind of dust off the math skills that I learned in high school. Or I could just do this manual thing, which, you know, is taking some time, but not too long. It's not as painful as it could be. All right, delete hidden, and yeah, there it is. So now that I've got this, I'll mirror and weld it in mirror over. Some things are masked. Okay. And the mirror and weld, there it is, boom, done, right? So I just did a quarter of it, and then now I have the rest. Bring everything back, there it is, move this down. There's this giant Buddha in Japan, in Sapporo, that I want to go see. And it's kind of similar idea to what I'm working on here, but what I'm working on here is just not a real thing. It's imaginary. It's like some alien kind of planet. What's going on with this? Is there still stuff hidden? Okay, no. Okay, that's good. And let me just hit this with inflate a little bit. No. What would this polish by features do to this? Does it do anything interesting? No. Let's check the mesh to see if it's okay. It is. All right. Okay, cool. So I've got this going. And now what I want to do is I actually want the whole figure to show. So I'm going to move all this stuff down. Down further. Right, move this down further, and then what I want to do is with this base, mask that part, but move this part down. Oh, maybe not. Need more of it. I'm just going to mask this part right here. I wonder if this will work. Let me see. Yep. Okay, this is what I want to do. All right, the trick I used there is a really good one to know. What I did is I just masked this part, and then I used Control and then dragged, and that basically just creates this geometry here for me to create that kind of inside part that I can move down. So I want to move down this way, and I also want this to come out to the end. Okay, goody. All right, so I think that's kind of this part right here. And I'm going to turn polyframe off. All right, let's bring where'd our dude go? Did we lose him? No, he's there. Where is he? Oh, he's inside. Maybe he's a little bit bigger, maybe like this big. Again, here I'm playing around with scale. Right, and so this person can go through in here. And architecturally, this part right here needs to be moved inwards. And this part as well. I don't know why it's not doing it right here. Oh, that's why, because that's the inside part. Okay, so I'm just going to make my life easier here and not worry about the bottom part of this. I'm just going to see if I can polygroup this, invert it, delete hidden. And I don't know if I need this inside part either. Okay, I just need this outside part, and this is going to make life a lot less confusing for me. Because it's never going to show up. So I just want to make it so that when people walk inside of this thing that they can look up and see the statue. So I'm going to mask this inside, invert that. And what I want to do also is mask this part. See what this does. There, that's what I want to do. So people can walk down here and look up. And then with this thing here, I'm actually going to see if I can make it wider. I mean, it could be cool if this was right at an angle like this. Okay, I think that's kind of looking pretty good. The people can walk inside, they can look at the statue from the inside, or they can contemplate or whatever. I'll create some runes and stuff inside of here. I think this part can use to be a little bit wider though. I think I'm working on the wrong part. I want this part to be just this part. Okay. Okay. All right, maybe there's an entrance that they can go inside here, and maybe they can just walk up into the statue or something like that. Okay. All right, so those are some good ideas about that. And then let's see what else I can do here with this. I'm going to add some elements to this helmet over here as well. I keep forgetting to grab my pen. I keep using my mouse. And it's just so much more efficient to use especially when sculpting. All right, so here what I want to do is insert polygon actions do nothing. And here I just want to insert edge, insert, and edge loop. It's not adding the edge loop where I want it to be. Okay, no. This way. All right, here we go. Okay, that's cool. And then I'm just going to select this part right here, invert it, and do something like that, and then select this part, move it up. Something like that. All right. I'm just kind of getting some kind of POVs of what this would look like looking up. All right. So I think I'm getting to a point where I'm saturated with work. So I'm going to see if I can move this hat down a bit to there. And then I'm just going to do some sculptural things here just to kind of tune this out. Did I subdivide this thing? No, it's dynamic. Okay, let's turn that back on. Right. Right, I still haven't applied any color or anything to this. I'm just kind of trying some things out. Maybe I'll go back to the guy here. Create a mask like this. Actually, here, this guy is pretty subdivided all the way, so I'm just going to do a paint thing I'm going to try here. Now let's say that part is full of red. Like that. I'll do a quick render here just to kind of see what I'm getting. Okay, good. That part's kind of shadow covered with the hat. But what if the sun is further down? Okay, that's looking good. Okay. I'm just going to grab my Damien standard brush here and just create some, you know, maybe some very subtle silhouettes. Hey, Acadian, thanks for joining us again. I think I recognize your name from before. Yeah, I had no idea I was going to be making something like this. I mean, I had a general idea of I'm going to make some sort of a alien god or something that people will be worshipping, but this is shaping up to be something very, very cool. Just kind of taking a minute to just look at it, and kind of that helps me because it just gives me some ideas on what to do. Because when I'm working and talking, I don't have any introspection into it. So it's always good to take a pause and kind of look at it, and then that kind of brings some ideas, and I can continue on. We have about 20 more minutes to go on this one, and so here I'm just gonna see what I can do. Yeah, I didn't use array for the temple. I actually just used dynamic and micropoly, but I will use array. Why don't I do that? So here I'm going to select this dude over here, bring him to the center. And I'm going to go ahead and just turn symmetry on here in X. I'm going to do the same thing I did with the other guy real quick. I'm turning polygroups on. And this is just some generic dude here. I'm just going to go to the anchors brush here again. And am I on move rotate? I am. And I'm just going to place one here. Just move his arms inwards. Whoa. Why is it just... That's strange. Yeah, I don't know what it was doing earlier, but it's fine now. Move his hands out. And just use sculpting here. I'm just basically, just creating like some guy standing normally. Okay, I'm just going to do the same thing with the legs here. Anchor, move, rotate. Put this over here. Get one over here. Just move the legs in a bit, like so. Okay, so there's kind of a person worshiping, I guess. I guess I could lift his arms up or whatever, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, so here's the guy. Let's bring everything back. And I'm going to move him out of the way. And let's say I want to create like a bunch of people that are going to be around this temple. I'm just going to bring it down to the ground. Okay, so I'm going to use array mesh to do it. Is the size okay? Scale is fine. Maybe a little bit bigger. Maybe something like that. All right, so what now I want to do is create a crowd of these people around the guy. I'm going to turn polyframe off. And what I'm going to do here is go ahead and go to array mesh and activate. There's different ways of doing this. I'm going to choose array mesh to do it this time. I'm going to say array mesh. Yes, good. And I'm going to solo him out. And this is what's this single-minded diff? I don't know what that is. Best viewers. Okay, gone. Goodbye. Okay. All right. Okay, so here what I want to do is I want to take this guy and I want to create a bunch of them around. So I'm going to go ahead and use rotate. But so here, I'm just going to bring him to the center. This will work better if I just bring him to the center of the world. Okay, so now he's at the center of the world. Not this, the whole guy. Okay, and I'll just bring him down. I'll just leave him here for now. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to tell array mesh to first of all what I want to do is I want to lock the position. Okay. And I want to repeat. Let's just do 8. Let's do 6 of them for now. And just go to rotate, and we'll go ahead and I think it's the Y amount. I'm not sure. So zoom in. It kind of creates this effect, and then I just move him out. Okay, so there it is. 6 of them going this way. Maybe we need more. Let's go for 8. And why is it not going? Oh, I want to go 360. That's why. Okay, I want to go all the way around. So there is 8 of them around, and I'm just going to solo this out, bring this out this way. So there's 8 people around like that. And now I can choose to have more. So instead of having 8, I can choose to have, I can just take that number up to about there. So there's all these people around, right? And I can move them in just a little bit, or move them out. Okay, let's say I want to create a very large number of these guys. Okay, so right now I've got 97. Let's go for 128 of them. Okay, so there they are. And then what I want to do is I want to create more. So what I could do here is I'll just go ahead and say append new. So now I've got a new array mesh, and I can just move how do I do this? I don't want to scale. I don't want to offset. Let's see, offset Z amount. No, that's not what I want to do. All right. So there's that, and then I mean I can do this with duplicate, but I think there's a way to do it with this append new. I did that, and oh, I've only had 2 repeats. Okay, so I'm going to do it a different way. I'm going to, instead of doing it the way that I did here, I'm just going to go back to this. Okay, that's good. So now I'm just going to duplicate this guy. And then with the duplicate, I'm just going to move these people back. I wonder if I can rotate now. I'll rotate it later, but I'm just going to move these people back just a little bit. And then I'm going to create another one. Same thing. I'm going to create another one. And I can continue to do this a whole bunch of times. I'm just going to do a few more. I think that's a good amount. And now what I can do is I can just, for all these, I can make them, which I will. So I should have done that in the first place. Oh well. Here's the first row. And so with array mesh, it's actually now, if I turn array mesh off, this whole thing becomes one person, right? So here's array mesh, and if I turn it off, it just goes down to the one person. But if I turned on, it goes to that. And if I want to make geometry out of this, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to delete the higher subdivision levels of this guy. Just so, because I don't want to bog ZBrush down with geometry. So where are you? Delete higher, and I should do that for all of them. So one of the things that I'm doing a lot today, which you will have to do if you are going to work in this business, is I'm doing a lot of kind of repetitious stuff. And it's always good to understand that that is kind of part of the equation. And a lot of times if you have to do this a lot, what happens is okay, so now I'm just going to go back up to the first one of these. So I don't, okay, and in array mesh over here, I'm just going to go ahead and say make mesh, move down, 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 make mesh. One more time and that's it. Okay, so now I've got all these guys, and what I want to do now is just offset them a little bit so that creates kind of a more realistic look. So I'm going to create this one, center my pivot in the world, turn symmetry off, center my pivot in the world, and just rotate it just a little bit like this. And the people are still kind of very evenly spaced. I mean, I would probably add some more random effects to this if I had my, if I was doing this for production. Just offset a little bit, move down to this one, center the pivot in the world, and rotate it a little bit this way. Go to this, again, center the pivot, rotate it this way. Something is off with this. This is not aligning with the helmet. And I think probably, and what I was saying while probably it wasn't streaming, is that I hope my RAM isn't going bad. Because I would not want to buy a new RAM for sure. All right. I'm almost done with this. And here I can also move these in a bit if I want to. I mean, it's not really going to make that much of a difference. Do that with these guys too. I'm just trying to create a bit of randomness. Okay, so now I've got all these people kind of aligned around this, just using array mesh. Very easy to just kind of create crowds like this. And of course I will randomize these more if I wanted to. Another way to achieve the same kind of effect is to use nano mesh. So I would probably use that. But right now I just want to create like some sort of a thing this way. And I'm getting close to the end here. So let's go ahead and turn on perspective. And I don't really, I'm just going to show, I don't know, Acadian, probably. Yeah, it buffered for a bit. I don't know what's going on. My machine's getting these weird freezes today, and I don't know if I've got like too many browser windows open or what's going on, but I think we're good. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Again, this was kind of like an unplanned thing. It just kind of morphed into this thing. And now I just want to do a few renders before we run out of time. So I'm going to go ahead and for a material here, I'm just going to use a toon material, and I'm just going to go ahead and make one real quick because it'll be a lot faster. So here I'll just go to Skin Shade 4 and go to the modifiers here, go to the diffuse color. And I'm just going to tile it to 1. Here, actually, I'm just going to bump up the strength to that. Which kind of creates an interesting toon-like effect. And I want to move this more towards the center. Here we go. See what that looks like with BPR render. Okay, I think the shadow, I can add an angle this way. Cthulhu? Where do you get Cthulhu from this? Okay, and then let's go ahead and add a specular here. Let's do the same thing with specular. Take the strength up to there. And should we add steps to it? No. Something like this. And I could also add colors to just make this colorized, but I'm just going to do like a quick render just to get an idea of what this looks like. So let's just do something like that. And then let's add some render filters to this to make it pop out more. So here I'm just going to do a few render properties. Where are you? BPR filters. There you are. All right, I'll start out with this one here and just add a radial overlay. Okay, good. Do we have floor on? Something like that. And this is just, again, ideation, just giving me ideas of kind of what I could get. And with this, I can move this up. To there. Reduce the radius a bit. So I do see the crowd, but I don't really need to kind of get the details of the crowd. I can just kind of see what's going on here. And let's see, I'm going to also add another couple of items here. I'll add some noise, and I just want the noise to be on the, let's just add it to the whole thing. That's fine. And I don't need it to be that kind of, just a little bit of noise, just kind of to break it up. And then I'm also going to add an outline, cavity, and I'll add an outline edge. All right, so I kind of have this tuned look to it. And I'm going to change my canvas color to something more colorful. Let's change it to red. Darker red. All right, let's see what we get now. All right, I think that's kind of a good thing, you know, all these people worshiping this weird kind of god in the middle. That's kind of a statue. And yeah, we're out of time. I'll stick around for a couple more minutes if you guys have any questions about everything that I did today. But basically, this was the model. What if I choose a lighter background? Let's see what happens there with the render. I wonder if that's going to come out more interesting. Oh, I think the problem is with this radial overlay, I think I'm going a bit too much. Let's reduce that. Okay. That's not bad. And I'll add an Orton to this. Kind of makes things pop a little bit more. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that's kind of a way to go. And I can, you know, add more people around or whatever. But like just for a couple of hours of work to just to kind of get this concept design going, I think that's really, really kind of what I wanted to do. I could also add some kind of distance blurring to this. Let me do that too. I've got a little bit of time. So here I'm just going to go ahead and add blur. And I'll just blur the whole thing. Let's go ahead and change the radius of this thing all the way up. Let's just completely blur this thing. Okay, so now it's super, super blurry. It kind of looks interesting already, but I don't really want that blur to be everywhere. I want it to be over here, but not on the model itself. So I'm going to go ahead and increase the depth to 1. And let's go ahead and say I want the blurriness to start here. And I don't think I'm doing this right. Okay, I want it to start maybe like at the base of this, and then the next depth is all the way in the back. So that adds a little bit of blur in as well. Let's see how. Yeah, that kind of makes this inside part a little bit more interesting. And let's see if the blur, negative blur, like if, oh yeah, that's kind of interesting too. All right. Yeah, there we go. So this kind of will be the final image for now. And I'll probably take this further a little bit more next time, figure out different ways of doing crowds and shots. But basically, this is just for a concept of a kind of a alien god that is worshipped, and this is the temple, and I'll put people around it. Next time, maybe I'll do people with array mesh, which kind of creates more of a realistic look. But yeah, hopefully people that were watching the whole time, you had a good time watching this. And I just want to wish everybody a good day, good night, or whatever time of day it is. Peace and love, everybody.